Students, what was the most disgusting thing you've done to your teacher? I cream pied my teacher, and the school took photos of it. It was on the final day of our junior year when my friends and I finally executed sweet revenge on our cruel math teacher, Mr. Bible. At first we were trying to get back to him, but it took a turn for the worse when I caught him alone in his classroom. Mr. Bible was the most hated teacher at our school, and for good reason. He monitored students like a prison guard, using binoculars from the roof to spot any rule breaking. He handed out detentions freely for petty reasons, like tardiness, untucked shirts, dropping a pencil. His nasty habit of shoving his whole hand down his pants mid-lesson was revolting. Students lived in fear of Mr. Bible's wrath. He was known to slam students' fingers in textbooks if they couldn't recite their times tables fast enough. When Jessica Weaver fell asleep in class after staying up late studying, he dumped a bucket of ice water on her head. In the last month of school, my friends and I complained about Mr. Bible's reign of terror daily at lunch. We dreamed up elaborate pranks, but never followed through. Until Pete Johnson offhandedly suggested an idea that would later lead to me getting expelled. Following unanimous laughter from all of us, we decided to go with the plan. My best friend Frank and I volunteered for the smashing duties. In the weeks leading up to it, we obsessed over every detail. Jess offered to distract Mr. Bible's aide Ms. Kravitz so she couldn't intervene. We knew we'd only get one shot at this. Failure was not an option. The night before, I could barely sleep. We synchronized our watches and went over the plan. At breakfast, Rico slipped laxatives into Mr. Bible's coffee thermos to give us an advantage. We were ready for our glorious day of reckoning. When the final bell rang, students poured outside cheering for summer's arrival. Mr. Bible stood scowling with arms crossed seeking one last victim. Once Mr. Bible went back into his classroom, Frank and I emerged before the door with donning ski masks. We were armed and loaded. My heart raced as we crept up to the door. In a blur, we ran into his room and put his hands back behind his head and begun to tie him up. He couldn't move. Frank held him down as I got ready to do the deed. In that moment, time stood still. Was I really about to do this? That was when I thought of my late mother. She had once told me to follow my heart and reject reason. I took a deep breath, stared at the struggling Mr. Bible dead in the eyes, licked my lips, turned him over on his chair, and went for it. My portion landed on the back of Mr. Bible's head with a satisfying splat. Before he could react, Frank's cream landed flawlessly, covering his shocked face in white, yellow, and brown bits. We sprinted away cackling maniacally. That night, cops arrived at my house and dragged me away in handcuffs. Our parents had to pick us up from jail, furious and ashamed. My dad's volcanic rage was terrifying. At the hearing, the judge burst out laughing as Mr. Bible's lawyer portrayed us as violent thugs. As the whole courtroom cracked up, it was clear this was just a childish prank, not assault. The newspaper coverage cemented our legendary status, though parents forbid us from doing interviews. My blistered hands scooping endless manure were worth it to see the judge turn red, stifling laughter at Mr. Bible's outrage. Even our disappointed parents struggled to hide smirks. Even though we got expelled, I'd still throw a banana cream pie in Mr. Bible's face again if I got the chance.